have three categories: books, movies, and TV shows. For the next one, I think I'm gonna add music, but I hadn't really thought of that when I started thinking of what I wanted to include, so I don't have anything written down for stuff that came out during January to March. The only thing I remember that I really loved as like a full album was Stromae's newest album. It's amazing. Santé, Fil de joie, L'enfer, C'est que du bonheur, pas vraiment, Mauvaise journée. I did French for a few years, and I'm sorry if it sounds like shit now. So let's go to my favorite books. So first of all, the first thing I actually read this year was the Six of Crows duology. I have the physical copies, but I don't have them with me right now. I really enjoyed both of them. I'd been meaning to read them since I watched Shadow and Bone, but I never had time, you know, that kind of reading slump, never have time kind of thing. But I finally got to them during the Christmas holidays, and oh my god, I'm obsessed. Like, I read all three of the series in the Grishaverse, and Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom definitely came up way higher than everything else. Especially like the first trilogy, no. There's like people I like from the trilogy, but in general, yeah, it's not that good. But the Six of Crows duology was really good. I think Crooked Kingdom for me was definitely better than Six of Crows, and I would really recommend it to someone that loves fantasy but more grounded, I guess. So it's a fantasy world, there's fantasy elements, but the people we follow, even though some of them have like fantastical powers, the bulk of the story does not focus on that. It focuses on more reality, the more things that could actually happen in real life. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I love all the characters. I can't wait for season 2. I do want to make a video on like the whole Grishaverse someday, because yeah, I have a lot of opinions. I've written a lot of notes about it, so yeah. Next is North and South. I'm obsessed. I've been obsessed with the miniseries for many years, and I finally read the book, and oh my god, I love Elizabeth Gaskell's writing style. It's so good, and it doesn't feel like it was written 300 years ago. It actually, even though there's like a lot of older words, I still could understand everything really well. She really gripped me. So many important topics were touched upon, like the class divide and workers' rights, feminism. She's insane. I love her. She's amazing. I also want to make a video on both the book and the miniseries. I think that everyone should read this book. It's really good, definitely. And the romance is amazing as well. And she's got really good friendships and family. Oh, it's all so good. It's all so good. And then the last one from my favorite books was Why Fish Don't Exist by Lulu Miller. I actually listened to this book as an audiobook, and it was so good. I think it was actually narrated by the author herself, and oh, I love her voice. It was so good. It's so short as well, like it's pretty short. I listening to this on the way to and from work, And if I had more time to listen to it, I think I would have gotten through it like in a day. It was so interesting. It's about so many things. Like, it's the history of a biologist. It's also about her personal history. It's about mental health. It's about eugenics. It's about a murder cover-up. And it's also about why fish don't exist, actually. It was really good, and I really recommend it to anyone that wants to start reading some non-fiction, because I haven't really dipped my foot or my toes into a lot of non-fiction, apart from books for school and scientific articles I have to read. So this was a really good introductory book to non-fiction, in my opinion. I think I'm much more interested in reading more now. So yeah, I really recommend it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the movies. The shows I think I'm going to have to do later. So I have 4 movies here. I watched more, but these were my favorites. The first one is a documentary. It's called Boy State, and it's fucking terrifying. It's about a boy state, which is an institution in the United States where they take, I don't remember how many, I think 300 boys, teenagers, and they make them elect their own government officials for a week, if I remember correctly. It's like for a very short amount of time. They do the elections and then they leave, basically. And they are split into 2 parties, because that's what they do in the US, I guess. And everyone was like making speeches and sharing their ideas and trying to win votes, etc. We followed a few different boys that were either trying to get elected for the position, or being advisors, or just in the party. It was really interesting to watch. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, but some of the things that these like children were saying were really scary. And I hope that that's not where the world is going. So yeah, I would recommend people watch it, because it's like kind of like an out of body experience, especially if you're that age, I'm guessing. For me, I'm like 23 right now, so it wasn't that much, but it was a lot to deal with, definitely. Next, I watched The Humans, which is a contained story in one building about a family of, well, mum, dad, 2 sisters, boyfriend, grandma, a family of 6, let's say. And it's about like their issues and their relationship as a family. Really good dialogue, like the writing was amazing. The mood was so weird. It changed from funny to serious to scary to sad. It was so interesting how they managed to do that in, like, I think it was a pretty good length. I think it was like 1 hour 30 minutes, a little bit over that maybe. It was really well done, really interesting. And yeah, I would definitely recommend this as like a afternoon, maybe with food movie, to watch quietly and kind of think over what's going on, because it could really connect to maybe your life as well. I definitely saw some points that kind of agreed with my life right now. There's only one actress that I don't really like that plays in it, Amy Schumer, but okay. So next, Tick Tick Boom. Oh my god, I watched this while going to take one of my winter exams, and I cried 3 times on a public train. Thankfully no one was sitting next to me. But oh my god, what the hell, I love this movie. Andrew Garfield, he's everything. I think we all know this by now, right? It was so good. It was so good. The songs were amazing, the direction was amazing, the sets were amazing, the actors were amazing, the songs. 1390, I've been trying to play it on the ukulele. I'm not very good at it still, but I'm trying. It's such a fun song to sing and play and just listen to. It goes, oh, it's so good. Oh my god. Yeah. I am definitely going to watch it again and again and again in the future. And I've been screaming about this movie to everyone that will listen. And last but not least, because this has become one of my favorite movies ever, it's gotten to my top 4 on Letterboxd, which obviously not a lot of movies do. It's The Worst Person in the World. I am her, she is me. It's not about the worst person in the world, she just sometimes feels like she's the worst person in the world. Such a good movie. I honestly felt, especially when it comes to the part where she's thinking about like her future, job-wise and career-wise, I really felt like her. I watched this while tipsy, so maybe that played a part, but it was so good. It made me feel so much. It's not that high intensity of a movie, but you know, it's for the, if you get it, you get it, you know. I don't know how to describe how I felt. I just did, you know. It's weird. It's for the people that don't have everything figured out and are kind of scared of where the future is going. Yeah, I think that's the best way to describe it, maybe. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the TV shows. So I'm gonna go really quickly through these because there's 11. I watched a lot of good TV. So first of all, Ted Lasso. So good. I mean, everyone is playing so well. They won like best ensemble cast, obviously, and I don't remember the actor's name, but he won best male actor, I think, at the Emmys, or was it the BAFTAs? I think the BAFTAs. Totally deserved. They are so good all together. I had so much fun. I laughed, I cried. It's about a football team in the UK that whose new manager wants to destroy it, so she hires a coach from the US, a American football coach from the US to come and coach the football team. They don't destroy the team, because if they did there would be no show, so but yeah, it's really good, has a lot of heart, really good writing, really lovable characters. Like, I adore everyone, well, nearly everyone, not the husband. Next we have Abbott Elementary. Such a good show. I remember watching Quinta on BuzzFeed from way back when, and it's amazing how far she's come. Such a good writer. I can't believe this was all her. It's such a good show, so funny. My parents are both teachers, so I could definitely relate to some of the stories they've told me, to what they go through in the show. And yeah, I really recommend it. It's really light-hearted and fun, but also has a lot of deeper topics that they go through. And it's all obviously it's a bit different from the schools here, but it was interesting to see what schools like look in the US because I've never been, so I don't know. Yeah, but it's also cool to see, not, well, it's not cool. It's interesting to see how many similar issues schools go through in both countries. And then we've got Starstruck, which is a show that I actually am planning to do a video on again. Because I also feel a lot like the protagonist Jessie. So Rose Matafeo wrote and produced this show. I first found Rose from Taskmaster. She's a New Zealand comedian, a Kiwi comedian. She's based in the UK right now, and the show is about her and her relationship with a movie actor, Tom, so Jessie and Tom. They meet during New Year's Eve and they have a tumultuous relationship in the first series. Throughout, they show us like the relationship throughout a whole year during big holidays. And then the second season is a bit more contained. It's like in a much shorter time period. I don't remember how long though. You'll see in my Starstruck video because I really love this show. Next, I watched Miracle Workers, which has my boy Daniel Radcliffe and Steve Buscemi and other amazing actors and actresses. It has Lolly Adefope with two series of the show have Lolly Adefope. It's kind of like an anthology series. The first series is about kind of like heaven workers, not the like religious kind angels. These are all people that have died and then become miracle workers, and they do different things around like heaven to help out people on earth and to kind of keep things going. It could remind you a bit of The Good Place, but it's really different topics. And then the second season is in the Middle Ages, and then the third one is based during what do you call that? Like when Americans, like it's set during the Oregon Trail era, and they're all lovely. I love all three series. I think my favorite might be, well, in the third one, there's a really cool scene with Daniel Radcliffe, who plays a priest in the third series. He does a really cool drag number. So yeah, I think the third series is really, maybe is in the number one spot right now. They're all good. They're all good. So I just watched the whole thing. Next, Why Women Kill. And another anthology series. Apparently it's over, which is really sad because I love the whole premise. The first season is about 3 different women's stories and why they resulted to killing people. We follow 3 different women, one from the 60s, one from the 80s, and one from the 10s, like 2010s. And I won't say anything more because I don't want to give anything away, but I love all the actors. I actually watched Veep a bit before watching Why Women Kill, and Dan from Veep is in this, and I also rewatched The Good Place. And there's... Okay, so the main characters are played by Ginnifer Goodwin, Lucy Liu, and what's her name? Come on. Kirby Howell Baptiste. Kirby Howell Baptiste. Then in the second season, we have Lana Parrilla. So if you watched Once Upon a Time, Ginnifer Goodwin, Lana Parrilla, they don't play in this, like they don't interact because they're in different seasons, but still, they were in the same show. Okay, so next I watched the After Party, which I watched because of Jamie Dimitriou. I watched Statlet's Flats before January, and I really wanted to watch more things he's in, and the After Party came up. The After Party is a series about a murder, and we see how this murder occurred from the perspective of like a lot of different people that were all in the same high school reunion. There's lots of really good comedic actors. Here's some of their names. I can never remember names, I'm so sorry. And yeah, it's really fun. It's really cool to see like the different interpretations. There's animation, there's like film noir, there's a musical. It's all really good. There's like a romantic comedy style. It's so good. The official story of Catherine the Great, and it's so fun. Love it. I'm watching Meet the Richardsons. So John Richardson and his wife Lucy Beaumont, her name is really difficult to say. They are an actual couple, and this is like a mockumentary style of their family. I really like John Richardson. I saw him in Taskmaster, and I've seen him in some other panel shows, obviously like Countdown, Would I Lie to You? So I thought this would be like an interesting premise, and it is really good. I'd never seen Lucy in anything before this, and she's my favorite character on the show. I'm sure this is not exactly them, but it's really fun to watch. Definitely love them. Obviously Bridgerton. I made a whole ass video about it, so yeah, I loved Bridgerton season 2. Canthony for life. Anthony, I love you guys. And 2 shows that are going on right now. No, 3 shows, sorry. So first of all, Killing Eve. It's about, well, now it's changed a lot from what it's originally about. I watched it from the beginning. It's about an assassin, Villanelle, and the person trying to catch her, Eve. It's now changed a lot, but that would be going into a lot of spoilers, so I'm not going to say anything more than that. And also Sanditon, which is based on the premise of Jane Austen's unfinished novel Sanditon. Another thing I want to make a video about. And last but definitely not least, Severance. So one of my favorite shows ever is Parks and Rec. So obviously when I saw Adam Scott was going to be starring in a new show, I could not friggin' wait. It's so good. It's so good. Very different from everything else I've been watching. Even though there are comedic elements, like there are a lot of moments that are actually quite funny. It's mostly kind of like dark and serious, a little bit of sci-fi kind of technology, based in the real world, but with some crazy ass technology, where people can basically go through a process called severance, where their everyday life memories and their work memories get divided into 2, and they forget anything that happens during work when they go home. A lot of people do this to kind of forget bad memories from their past and get